It's 6 o'clock. We're going to have to get it rolling so we can get it done, get home, snuggle up in our jammies. So the Tea Party Patriots and the Republicans of Eastland County are putting this event on. And now I ask Ronnie Watt to pray over our meeting, if y'all will all stand.
Our dear, most precious Heavenly Father, we come before you this evening asking for guidance, direction, and understanding. Father, help us to know you and help us to pick the right candidates and that's going to run our city and our county and our school board party. Father, bless each and every person here and take care of everybody that's going on this evening. Bless these things in our precious name. Amen. Amen.
Now, if Richard Krantz would lead us in the pledge.
Please join me in the pledge to the American flag and to our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ronnie and Richard. Y'all may be seated. Oh, Callie, can you come this way? I just wanted to say thank you to all the candidates that are here. I know that most of us aren't used to doing things like this. So I just really appreciate it, and for you serving our community and surrounding community area. Is it like messing up?
You sound like you're in a well.
Oh, It was worse earlier.
Keep talking so we can figure it out.
Okay, no problem. And then I also want to thank everybody else that's here. It would have been nice to stay home and enjoy the rain at home, but this is really important, and so I'm glad you are here. Let's see. Have a few announcements. The Republican Party has these Trump signs. If you want one, you can have it. We'll take a donation of $10 or $50, whichever you want. And then I hope you all saw we have coffee and water and cookies over here. Feel free anytime during this. If you're going to be here for the whole thing, it may take a while. And then I want to let anybody know, if you don't know, that right out here through this door is the men's and women's restroom. You can also get to it through that door. Come up the hallway. And right now, I'm asking that everybody please turn their cell phones off so we don't have interruptions. And I'm also asking that we run an orderly meeting, that if you're talking out there, keep it low or no, don't talk at all. So we're about to start the City Commissioners event, and after they do their introductions, we'll have questions from the floor, and at that time, I will call on you, and then you can ask your question, and then I'll answer your question. So that's how that will run. And so just so everybody knows, each candidate will have 3 minutes for their intro. So on the city commissioners, I'll call the first one up. They drew for places to speak. So the first one will come up and speak for 3 minutes, and then they'll have a seat, and then the next one, and then the next, and so they'll all be up here ready for questions from all of you. And so candidates, just so you know, we have Lori Garrison right here. She's the Ranger Precinct Chairwoman, and she has a little sign that we always use. And when you have 30 seconds left, she'll hold that up, And then when your time is up, she'll hold up the stop sign and ring the bell. Kind of simple. It works. Come on in. So, I guess the first one is Gary Peak. You have 3 minutes for your intro.
Won't take that long. Well, most of you know me. Some of you probably like me, some of you probably hate me. That's okay too. Why am I running for city commission? Because I just think we all should do our civic duty. I don't think there's any hot topics right now in the city commission. I just want to do what's best for Eastland. I want to do what's best for the people of Eastland. And sometimes those things kind of conflict. I hope I can balance it out. That's all I got to say, guys. Sit down.
And then next is Tom Cameron. Is everybody hearing us in the back? Yeah. All right. Great.
Well, many of you probably don't know me. We're relatively new to the community, so I won't be quite as short as Gary. So I can tell you a little bit about myself. Been in the marketing industry for about 35 years. Ranged in roles within different corporations and small companies. One of the last ones was I was CEO and worked on mergers and acquisitions for that company. Other than that, I've gone through business, management, finance, and people skills classes, I guess. Probably can't tell by the way I'm blundering it right now, but what I've learned is through business, I've built some amazing teams, and my successes have been built around those teams, not on my own abilities, but by working cohesively with a lot of great people. When we got here and part of this community, we immediately built some very positive relationships. And because of those relationships, a few of them reached out to me and asked me if I'd be part of running for this. They believed in what I had to offer from a business standpoint, a people standpoint. I also have a lot of organizational skills with past boards, both on a charity level, business level, and also education level. So they thought I could bring some of those skills to what we have going on here. So it would be an honor to really step up our involvement with the community. Again, as Gary said, there's not a lot of hot topics to really deal with, we don't believe, at this time. Being part of a larger group, we'll have a voice in what's going on, but I think the biggest thing we can bring is I'd like to see more collaboration between the city council and the community as a whole. I think there's a lot of divide there and people aren't really as involved. And I think trying to create some sort of connection and outreach where we get the community more involved in what the city council is doing is a great way of starting on how we build for today and for the future. So thanks for letting me join you tonight and see where this goes.
And now Carol Jones.
Good evening. Thank you guys for everybody being here tonight. I'm Carol Jones. Most of you probably know me. Moved to Eastland in 1980 and began working at the Eastland National Bank. I was there through probably 93, and I've recently retired from the adult probation department after 25 years. So with that being said, I am married to Tracy Jones. We have 3 girls who have all been very active in sports and school activities, so many of us have probably crossed paths along the way with that. I really don't have an agenda for this. I just really do respect all of our leaders and our law enforcement, very thankful for first responders, and I just want to give whatever support I can to the community. I think there's some exciting things happening, and I want to be a part of it, and I want you to be sure to get out and vote so we can all see the good things that are happening here. Thank you.
I don't know how. Oh. Okay, were there any questions for the city commissioners that are running? Beth?
What I would like to know is we are in a severe drought. We are losing our water supply, and I would like to know what y'all thoughts are on our situation right now, because this is a serious situation right now. And if we don't get serious rain, we're getting good sprinkles, but that's not bringing our watershed in like it should. But we've had a wonderful person, I believe he's in this room, that has helped us clear out the riverbeds. But I just want to know what y'all's thoughts are on like our water situation. Do you think it's that serious?
So,
Yeah.
I don't know how much the city commission can do about it, but I'll just tell you my thoughts. I thought we needed to expand on the other side of the dam forever. At some point, we're going to need it, and if we don't do it, it's, sooner you do it, the better. At some point, we're just going to have to do it. So why not get as many federal funds as we can get and state funds and get it started?
Yes.
Do you okay? Tom?
Put me in the spot. You know, honestly, I don't want to say something incorrectly because I don't have enough information on it. I do know City Council is working towards, trying to improve the riverbeds. I know they've had conversations about this topic. As Gary said, we're not sure exactly how much there is that's within their control, but we do have an issue. And I can say probably on behalf of my other candidates, we'll do what we can and what's within our power to help alleviate and provide solutions to that.
I second that motion.
Is there anyone else that has any other questions? Yes.
I would like to ask, I'm new to Eastland, and I would like to see and/or ask, what's your vision for Eastland, Texas? Where are we going? Is there a vision?
Well, I can't speak on behalf of the council because I'm not on there yet. I can speak for myself. Since we've been here, we came, in all fairness, we came from California, we came from a bigger city. We came here for the small town charm that Eastland had to offer. And since we've been here, we've built some amazing relationships that honestly could not have happened anywhere else in California. And honestly, those relationships have built into, people we now call family. As far as what I see for a vision or what I'd like to see happen is I'd like to see some more resources come into the community to better stabilize what we have going on. It's nice seeing some businesses pop up, sandwich shops and whatnot, but we got to bring some business into it so we can get, honestly, some tax revenue. We can do things to help developing the community and supporting the residents. So find a balance between maintaining that small town appeal. We don't want to destroy it. So we got to work together, and as I said, work collaboratively with the community and the council to find that balance between maintaining that and developing.
That's a good question. That's a great question. It's a balancing act. Look at what's happening to all the cities as, the metropolitan area moves out. They lose their identity for the most part. So we've got to take a cautious step, but we've got to be moving forward. We want our town to be nicer. We want it to be safer. We want to have better schools. We want all of it. But we don't want a lot of other things forced upon us that's going to make us lose our identity. So I don't know the exact answer, but we've got to be looking at cleaning up the town, maybe enforcing our regulations a little bit more for properties that need it to start with. Let's clean our own backyard up.
definitely said it better. I think that until we have resources to correct the problems that we have now, we just have to do the best with what we have. I think Eastland has grown and grown and is getting better and better every year. I mean, take this RIP festival that we have, it just keeps getting better and better, and it takes more and more people to make it happen, but it is happening. So if we can just, everybody do their part and just, hang on, it's gonna get there. I think it's already there, but it's gonna get better, for sure. Thank you.
The next question? Yep.
If I was gonna buy a house, I wouldn't buy it on my road. Cisco, Ranger, Eastland, all of us have the same situation. It just seems like we talk about growing, we talk about getting better, and water doesn't seem to be a part of it, and the infrastructure of Eastland doesn't seem to be a part of it. Now, I don't know what anybody's plans in that area are.
Thank you.
You're trying to go first?
I would have to agree with you on that as far as the roads go. Of course, I'm not on the council, not on a committee, so I don't know where to go with that. I'm just going to try to fall in with the ones that do know how to do this and do the best I can to try to help.
Money, money, money. You can fix everything with a little more money. I mean, that's the bottom line. We've got to have the money to fix it. I don't know where the council's, been looking for money. There's bound to be more places, but you don't want it to come out of your taxes. So we've got to find the money. That's the question.
They've been looking for a long time.
I hear you.
Well, as Gary said, it takes money. And the reality is unless we create some sort of revenue that's coming into the city to help support some of these initiatives, it's going to be hard pressed to be able to make some of these changes. So as I mentioned earlier, we got to find things that bring in revenue to the community and maintain balance to who we are and what we are as an identity. It's the only way we're going to generate the funds necessary to fix our infrastructure. I've been to a few city council meetings. I know they're working hard at it, but they are limited on the resources that they have. There's a lot of places that are asking for it. We got to find a way to prioritize it. We got to find a way to fund it.
Who has the next question? That's it?
And I can just say something, but I want to say it to the city council we have now. So we live on Moss Road, and so when we turn, we have to turn between Crowder and that other, I don't know what it is, but anyway. But that road has always had potholes, and the city's been taking care of it lately, because every time it rains, it's like half pavement, half gravel, but they've been doing a really good job, so thank you. First time since I've been here in 92.
I'll pay you after this is over.
Serious.
Save that money for the other roads.
Yeah. Are there any more questions? Because if not, we may be finished with the city commissioners event. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Good luck. So now we will go on to the hospital board. And the first one to give his introduction will be Cale Joyner.
Hello, my name is Cale Joyner. And I know most of you, grew up with most of you. I went to school here in Eastland, graduated in 1982. born and raised. I left and went to college at Ranger, and then Stephen F. Austin, got a BBA, and I came back here after I tried Austin out for a little bit, didn't like it. I've been at EBA Iron, I'm the HR director there, been there 33 years. Before that, I did some probation work here at our probation department and the 91st District Clerk for Mary J. Rowell Brown back in the day. I've been on the hospital board for, I didn't even realize, for 30 years. And the same reason I did that back in the day, you know, I figured one of these days, we're all going to need it. We can't afford to be a Baylor or Scott and White, but we need a good basic care if you need to go on and get you a helicopter. And it's real challenging today with the state and federal. They basically want us to all go to Abilene. The problem is you get that golden hour, but it's a real challenge. Our taxing, and this may be something we have to talk about, we're basically the size of the school district. Our taxing district runs the hospital about 10 days a year. It's about $58,000 a day to run the hospital. So it's a real challenge, but we're fine. We're doing good. Yeah, you know, it's a real stressful place when you're up there. You know, the ER probably costs taxpayers $500,000 a year for the rent doctors for the ER. Then now it's $500,000 for the hospitalist, which sees the patients once they're in the hospital. So it's a real challenge, but it's something we all have to have. We all need. We'll do the best we can. If I can ever help anybody, people call me during the night and stuff, and that's fine. Just give me a call. I'll be glad to talk about it with you. And I guess that's it for now. I appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Oh, what I need, sorry.
And Richard Barron, you're the next one.
Good evening, everybody. My name's Richard Barron. I know a lot of you in here. I don't know everybody, but I have TXL Internet. I've been here since 2000 when we moved here, but my wife's family's from here, so I'm very familiar with Eastland County and I've been here for a while. I've been on the board for 2 years now. I was elected 2 years ago. And I think that the hospital board is got a lot of work to do, and we've got a good board. But there's still things that we need to do. COVID changed medical practice, period. And if anybody hadn't realized that, hospitals changed. Small hospitals, there's a ton of them going out of business because they just can't make it. Yes, there's federal regulations, there's state regulations that create problems for us. But our hospital does a good job at managing what we have and trying to grow and move forward. And that's what we have to do. We have to move forward. Telemedicine is a big deal. I believe that our hospital has a way to go with that. I look forward to seeing us do some more with telemedicine. It's here. It's the way hospitals are done. You don't have the same thing that you did 10 years ago. It's just not there. So I'm looking forward to trying to move the hospital forward and moving forward, getting some plans, some not just dreams, but having some written plans, 3-year plans, 5-year plans, 10-year plans of where the hospital needs to be going and where they're going. Even if we don't hit those goals, at least we have them, we can see what we're making tracks of. Not just trying to put out the fires every day that we have. So that's kind of what I'm looking for and what I want to see out of the board. In 2 years, we've made some changes, but we still got some things to do. And I think we can get there. It's just going to take some more work for everybody, and it takes a community. They need to communicate. They need to know what's going on at the hospital, too. So I look forward to possibly serving again. Look forward to your vote. Thank you.
And Donald Hughes.
I'm Don Hughes. I've been here before. Seems like it's old stomping grounds, but I'm a retired school administrator. I ran for the hospital board 2 years ago, and folks, it's a learning process. You don't learn overnight how the hospital is run. The thing that I'm proudest of is Eastland's got a hospital. You go to Weatherford, you go back to Port Abilene, there's no hospitals on the interstate. anymore. We've got a dialysis center. We've got some good physicians. Got an ER that can take care of you in a pinch. And I just think it's a calling to be on the hospital board. Cale and Missy and several more know a whole lot more about it than I, but I know about budget and personnel and things like that. And I'd like to serve 2 more years. Thank you.
Laurie Mangum.
Hi, my name is Laurie Mangum, and I'm running for a place on the Eastland Memorial Hospital Board. I will be an asset to the Eastland Memorial Hospital Board because I've had about 20 years of billing experience in the medical field. While working to increase the revenue to hospitals and clinics, I've also been an active member in the Eastland community. I worked at B&W Clinic for 7 years processing claims, insurance payments, and being a patient advocate for Eastland County residents. I am now currently working for Eastland for Skinner Medical Billing and Consulting and have been there for about 12 years. I post payments, send claims, and work the AR for many physician offices. My career has given me the opportunity to understand how money gets brought into our rural medical community. I believe this is an important need for our hospital board at the moment. I was born and raised in Eastland and feel I have a strong loyalty to Eastland County, and I want to see our hospital thrive and love to be a part of that. I would appreciate your vote for Eastland Memorial Hospital Board on May the 4th. Thank you.
Missy Moylan.
Good evening. My name is Missy Moylan. I am seeking a position on the Eastland Memorial Hospital Board, where I am currently a board member and have served since 2016. I'm going to brag on our hospital a little bit here. I think we've got a great hospital, and I'm proud of all the men and women who are dedicated to providing just the best services that EMH can offer. Patient care is our #1 priority. It's what we focus on every board meeting. We are dedicated to our patients that come to our hospital and want to provide the very best care that we can. As Cale and Donald have mentioned, healthcare is very challenging these days. Texas leads the nation in rural hospital closings. Over the past several years, we've had 27 rural hospitals have to close their doors due to uncompensated care, low patient volume, and just the rising cost of the goods and services. When I first came on the board in 2016, it cost the hospital about $45,000 a day to open the doors. Today, as Cal said, it's $59,000 a day just to operate the hospital. And I think we can all agree that's a staggering figure. So the administration and board of directors have had to seek out other ways to fund our hospital. One way that we are doing that is through the QUIT program. And the QUIT program is a quality incentive for patient care for our nursing home patients. And that has been a huge program for our hospital. It's helped us to shore up our losses that we incur each month. And as Cal mentioned, the board is looking into expanding our hospital district to a county-wide hospital district because the revenue that we get from our small district just doesn't cut it for us. As I said, rural healthcare is challenging. And if I'm elected, I will continue to do the very best I can to ensure that Eastland community has the very best health care that we can. I would really appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Michelle Resco. Is that how you say your name?
Yes, ma'am. Hi, my name is Michelle Rasco. My maiden name is Tucker. Get that out of the way. So I guess I'm just going to share a little bit about myself and why I'm running for a position on the hospital board. I'm 27 years old. I'm married to my best friend. We've been married for 5 years. We have 3 kids, 2 little boys and a baby girl. For the last 4 years, I've been a medical assistant at Family Health Clinic. I work under Dr. Robert DeLuca and Charlotte Carroll. It has been absolutely amazing. I love it. It has been 4 years of learning all about healthcare and all the parts that have to work together to make it work. So we work with the hospital. Without rural health clinics, the hospital doesn't stay open. But without the hospital, we don't stay open. It's all working together, and so I'm really excited for an opportunity to hopefully be on the other side of things. I'm from Eastland, which that's a blessing to me. I love being here. When I first found a love for healthcare was from my grandmother, Jackie Tucker. She has been a nurse practitioner at the same clinic that I currently work at for 28 years. She also served on the hospital board for over 20 years. And so my entire life, she raised me, and so I've heard about the importance of rural health care and like all the things that she has done and the board has done to keep the hospital open. And so for me personally, the 3 things that I find most important and that I want to see happen for our hospital is, number 1, affordable health care, which we've opened, not we, the hospital has opened, these rural health clinics that have been really great for a more affordable form of health care. And even, at our clinic, we tell people, oh, you can't afford us, that's fine. Here's another resource that our hospital has provided, and I think that is amazing. On top of being affordable, we need quality health care. We need the highest level doctors, the highest level nurses, and I feel like in Eastland we have that. We have the same level of care that you could get, in Fort Worth or Abilene, but we're local, which I think is so important. But in order to have affordable and quality health care, we have to have health care, and I think that's keeping the hospital open is most important. And so, like everybody has said, that comes with money, that comes with the people, and so those are really the 3 things that I want to see happen. Keep the hospital open, get quality health care, keep it affordable so that everyone can have that. I'm confident that my medical background and my love for this community and hospital and my desire for change and betterment could be an asset to the board if given the chance. But no matter who you vote for, just please get out and vote, because for me, of course I want to be on the board, but it's most important that your voice is heard and you put who you feel like is the best fit on this board to serve the hospital and the community. Thank you.
Carolyn White is on the board now, but she's also up for re-election, and she could not make it tonight. I talked with her the other day. I just wanted to say that she very much wants to continue being on the board, but she has, like right now, some health issues that she's taking care of, and then she's had some problems at her home, and she has another meeting. I think she said she's like the president or something at the hospital anyway, and anyway she could not make it to this, so I just wanted to say that for her. And now we'll open the floor for questions. Who has one? Okay. Devaney? Sorry.
So I just heard a rumor that y'all are considering telemed for the ER, and I just want to know if that's true.
No, not that I'm aware of. As far as telemed only in the ER, there's doctors going to be in the ER. You have to operate with doctors. Telemed is something as a service we've been looking at as an add-on to where offering the ability for elderly patients, things of that nature, to come in and make their appointments instead of having to go to Weatherford or having to drive to Abilene all the time. They can come here, they can get to have a nurse there available and do the telemed that way. That's more the way they're looking at doing the telemed, not necessarily replacing any doctors that are currently on staff or replacing emergency room staff.
That makes me feel good. I worked there for 20 years in the ER. I do not recommend telemed for ER. No. Telemed does have a purpose. I'm not totally against it, just for ER. Okay, thank you.
Tiffany, one thing we are looking at is telemed for psychiatric care.
Oh, well, that I could see.
Because we don't have anybody local.
Yeah. When I worked there, they could be there for 24 to 48 hours trying to find placement.
Does anybody else want to speak to that?
I think Richard did answer the question.
Yes, do you know what steps we need to take or needs to be taken in order to expand the size of our hospital district? Because right now it is big. And Eastland, Cisco, Ranger, Gorman, Carbon, all of them use it, Rise Star use it and everything, but they're not paying any of the hospital taxes. Do y'all know the steps that we need to start on to get done to do it?
Yes, sir. First, Eastland would have to agree, the voters of Eastland would have to agree to let these other districts, other towns, communities come into our district. Voters of Eastland would have to do that first. Then the voters of Cisco, Ranger, Rising Star would have to vote themselves a tax, which
It's another side.
Well, and I'll say too, I bet it's probably been 5 or 6 years ago, there's certain legislation that we voted in case that it did come up, that you have to have in order to make your hospital district bigger. So that is in place, Ronnie. That was one of the things we had to get done then. I forget what the deal was, if that door was going to be closed or something, but the legislation is all there. What it would come down to, just like Missy said, is, and Ranger doesn't have a hospital, Cisco doesn't have a hospital, Gorman doesn't have a hospital. Those people pay taxes, and then they went under, which was, that just happens. So, they're a little, I understand that too. The people in those towns are a little edgy because they just got them paid off. So we'd have to, be asking them to come in, and then there again too, you'd have to be willing to, as Eastland, you would have to be willing to share the hospital, So, but we're ready just when the county kind of gets ready. Like Stevens County, they get $1.2 million because they get all the money for that one hospital. But it's within 30 miles of us, so that's the one thing that keeps us from kind of getting it. You guys might remember the designation because it's too close. There's certain things that blocks us, but we're getting it. Okay. So, that's where we need to probably go, but we'll all have to get together and talk about it and all get along.
Are we preparing a ballot initiative to put that on the ballot for Eastland to accept the others?
It hasn't been done yet.
It hasn't been approved.
No. It's an uphill battle, either way you go. I don't think that Eastland, this is an opinion, I don't see Eastland being, Eastland will be willing to let people come in and join the district. I think the bigger battle is going to be the other communities voting in saying we want to join this, because right now what is there to gain for them except for taxes? And that's how it has to be viewed. It has to be looked at a little differently. Yes, we're going to be at, if that expansion of the hospital district comes about and we move forward that way, everybody has to be on board with that. Cisco, Ranger, Gorman, the county, if we want to make it a county-wide, they're going to have to vote that in. And it is not a battle. Not many people want to vote in, hey, yeah, I'm willing to pay more taxes. So they got to see the value of that. So that's the challenge that's facing the board and the hospital district and the county as a whole.
Let me say one. Oh, sorry. I was just going to say one thing, and you guys probably already know this. We have a 50-cent sales tax, and that's what gives us the income that we get. Like I said, that runs the hospital probably less than 10 days a year. But it's as the people that contribute, when they come to Walmart, for example, and they shop, whatever we collect in sales dollars, we reduce, and we all know too, our ad valorem tax, our hospital tax is probably the cheapest tax on your line there that you pay. So that's kind of our way, that does help. That helps 50-cent sales tax. As they pay that, we try to decrease the burden for the ad valorem tax in the hospital district. So that is one way that we kind of all share in it, and that's kind of the way we look at that. But there again, it's healthcare that you've got to have sometimes. Nobody plans on it, but we probably collect 28 cents on the dollar in the ER. That doesn't matter. We need an ER. Same thing with the dialysis. I don't think we have one person that has health insurance with like Blue Cross or Blue Shield, but who cares? I don't want someone to have to drive to Abilene and get that stuff because it's like about an hour and a half drive there. It takes 4 to 8 hours. I think 4 hours. Debbie probably knows better. And then they're coming back, throwing up. They're sick. They do that 3 times a week. So that's a necessary thing. It is what it is. Same way with the ER. So that's what I'm saying. We just all got to pull together and keep that thing going.
Okay. Sorry, Phil.
Sorry, Robbie.
It's okay.
Sorry, I get off on that stuff.
I can tell.
That's disappointing.
Let me answer Ronnie's question too.
Okay.
The hospital district isn't the size of that school district back there. When it was formed in 1990, you go across that Kokomo Highway, everything south of that's not in the hospital district. In other words, carbon dissolved in 1990. But some of y'all don't pay hospital district taxes because you're below that. You just need to look at sometime where the hospital district actually is. It's not the entire Eastland ISD school district.
Are there any other questions?
Can I just say something?
No, just questions. Does anybody have, okay.
To any of you that have been on the board, we have heard a tremendous amount of numbers, scary numbers. The number that it takes to open the door at the hospital, the return, the collection rate on the money that we have coming into the hospital, the struggles that it takes to keep the hospital open. And I would tell you that the hospital is such a huge part of what makes Eastland good, along with a number of other entities. We have to have that. Can you reassure us of the financial stability of the hospital?
Three of us here actually on the finance team. I will say this, the financial status of the hospital is very strong. Our balance sheet is strong. Thanks to some programs that were initiated 6 years ago, 8 years ago, some programs that we got involved with, the QUIP program that she mentioned, those programs have helped shore up the financial status of the hospital. We're not in any, we're not in dire needs of, we're going to structure, we're falling apart today. But we're trying to look ahead to 5-year, 10-year plan to where we're still here and operating 10 years down the road, because medical's changing quickly. And so we're financially strong, but that doesn't mean we don't have to do something. We need to do something before it gets bad.
And I would just also say to that, the QUIP program, as I mentioned earlier, has been huge for our hospital, but we know that QUIP program will not be around forever. It's been in place about 7 years. I don't think we'll have another 7 years. I hope we do, but I just don't see that happening. So as a board, we are aware and we're conscious of that, and that's why we're looking to expand the hospital district. But even if we do that, that's not going to get us even, So we need some doctors, and we are in the process of, have been recruiting doctors and surgeons. We need a surgeon in here that can do simple procedures.
Amen, that's what we need.
Such as, colonoscopies, basic stuff. Right now, all we are doing are cataracts, basically. So that is something we're trying really hard, but recruiting doctors to this area is another huge challenge. Geographically, it's just not where they want to be, and their wives.
Key point there.
Is there anybody else that wants to speak on that? You have a question?
I do.
Okay.
As you know, most of us are very concerned recently about one of our paramedics. We are upset. This community is upset. Olden, Texas is devastated over the loss of Colin Craig. The man was phenomenal. Lori knows. We almost lost my neighbor over one night. Our paramedics saved my neighbor because of Colin Craig. We are heartbroken over that. Also, one thing I want to say, and this is mainly a comment.
Do you have a question, Beth? We have to keep it to questions because we have a lot more to go.
Okay, my question is, are we going to continue to lose these employees? We can't have this. We cannot keep losing these good employees. Not just calling, but we've lost some good nurses. And we can't, and like Missy said, man, we need these doctors in here. And I want to know if we're going to continue to get these employees in there and keep them.
Thank you.
Okay.
Of course, we want to keep our good employees, and I know Colin had been an employee for 20 some odd years, and it affected a lot of people, very emotional. The board has no control over firing or hiring employees. The only person we are in charge of is the CEO. We can fire the CEO and hire a CEO. As far as the other employees are concerned, that's off limits. Now, if Mr. Craig would like to file a grievance and go through that process, I would encourage him to do that. And then that can be brought to the board. That's all I'll say to that.
Okay. Are there any other questions? Okay. Well, hospital board director candidates, you can go back to your seats. Thank you so much. And now for the school board candidate forum, Callie, Stacy, you have your 3-minute introduction.
And then you can have a seat. Yes, ma'am. 3 minutes, that's it. Whew, this is going to be hard. Okay, so I am Callie Arthur Stacy. I think I know most of you in the room. Some of you I don't. I have like 4 pages of information here, and I'm not going to get to all of it, so I'm just going to be short and sweet. I born and raised in Eastland, Texas. I am an Eastland Maverick, Lady Mav, deep in my soul. I am married to the love of my life of 27 years in June, Brad Stacy. We are both graduates of Eastland High School. We graduated in 1996. I know, don't do the math because it was a long time ago. We are blessed. We have 2 children that were both graduates of Eastland High School. Our son Derek, he graduated in 2016, still in Eastland, Texas. Our daughter graduated in 2019. She is finishing at Hardin-Simmons, earning her doctorate of physical therapy. So all of that to say, my parents are Philip and Sherry Arthur, born and raised Eastland, Texas, business owners. My Kel, I don't know where you went, mentioned my grandmother, Mary Jane Rao Batts, as some of y'all know her, and she was also an Eastland Maverick. So to tell you that I'm an Eastland Maverick, I'm an Eastland Maverick at heart. Coming on 5 generations because I skipped a part. Brad and I are blessed. We have 2 beautiful grandchildren, 2 granddaughters. Copeland Tate is the baby, and Tinley Scott is the oldest. So that will be our 5th generation. So I gotta go fast because she's looking at me. So I wanted to kind of just base this off of some bullet points of what the school board member or on the board of trustees does and is responsible for, listening to the hospital board. There are some things the board does and some things the board doesn't do. So I encourage you, if you aren't aware of all those things, because I'm not going to have the time and no one else is, to tell you all of those things, reach out to any of the current board members or any of the new members that may be elected and ask if you have any questions. I'm going to start off, and I'm going to read you this because it's my favorite little part. But what is a leader? A leader is someone who inspires passion and motivation in followers. A leader is someone with a vision and a path to realizing it. A leader is someone who ensures their team has support and the tools to achieve their goals. A leader is someone who is in charge, inspires confidence, and the person who convinces others to follow. Oh my goodness, 30 seconds. So all of that to say, school board, oversees budget, taxpayer. The school board is actually we take care. You're the stockholder. So to be a good leader and on the school board, you have to be fiscally responsible for the taxpayers' money. But number one, it is all about education. I think we have lost sight in the things that our children come to school for, and I'm out of time. So if y'all want to talk to me later, I'll talk to you more. Yes. See, I'm 3 pages left.
I think I'm fast. And next we have Deidre Sadler.
Hello. I appreciate everybody coming tonight. My name is Deidre Sadler, and I have had the privilege of serving on the board for 6 years. My husband Darren and I just celebrated our 21st year anniversary. I've lived in Eastland here for 21 years. Our daughter Dayla is a junior here at school. She's involved in sports, and she's an FFA kid. So we are very active parents. Darren is known as the mayor. He's at Walmart. Everybody knows Darren. So I'm very proud to call that my family over there. So just a tidbit, because the time is going to run fast. And I usually speak off the cuff, but this is about our kids, all of our kids. So I wrote stuff down. Like I said, I don't normally do that, but I am. So I am proud to say that the school is financially healthier now than it was when I stepped onto this board. I'm proud to say that our ratings for our academics are up. Some of y'all, there's a bunch of stuff going on in Austin right now. If you're aware of the lawsuit that's going on with the rating system, with how they rate the school system, it's hurting the school. Right now, the rating that I feel that we look at stats at every school board meeting. And we look at data, how the kids get tested. We look at that constantly at our board meetings, because that's very important. With the lawsuit going on, we're not going to get our rating for this last year, unfortunately. It has to do with verbiage in the policy. School districts are suing. We come out of that COVID year. It's a mess in Austin. But I will say, this Eastland ISD school should be rated as a high B, if not a low A, for our ratings for our kids. So I do want to thank our teachers, because they have worked so hard to get out of this COVID cloud that has been over the school system in the whole state. It's affected the kids and it affected our teachers. But they have done a great job pulling us out of that darkness into the light. So I appreciate everything that they do. So I'm just going to go over a few things. Things that I'm proud of right fast. I mean, we balanced a budget. We budgeted for $12.4 million this last year. We lowered the tax rate. It's 15.46. We have about $8 million in the fund balance for school. A couple of the things that I'm proud that as a board that we did: the free lunch program, free school supplies, the security upgrades to all campuses, the security fence around the elementary school, the hiring of 2 new SROs, hiring the school social worker.
Marcus Worthy.
Thank you, Robert. Guys, I appreciate y'all all coming out here. This is what it's about. It takes a community of us, all of us, to get together, and that's what makes Eastland successful. So I want to start off with that. But as a graduate of Eastland ISD, 2010, I am a little young. I'm a father of EISD students and a longtime resident of Eastland County. It is an honor to serve the school that I call my school. My wife Katira and I have 3 Maverick-proud children. Having 3 kids in school has given me the knowledge to understand what these kids go through on a day-by-day basis. We have been so blessed to be a part of this school and community with many opportunities to serve and build together. As local business owners, Katura and I have taken great pride in watching and supporting positive growth of our excellent school community. I have been utilizing the skills that I have as a business owner and a father to make informed decisions to better EISD. I have only been on the board for about 1 year and 4 months now, but I believe that I've made a big impact, and I will strive to serve the betterment of our school. I will continue to be a strong voice for our parents, students, coaches, and faculty members. This is a great school that has continued to prove itself with success. I will look forward to making changes to help build a strong culture as well. And having moral values that stand on a biblical foundation is how we build together. So that's a little something that I wrote on Facebook. That's kind of my opening statement. But guys, I believe in our students. I believe in our school. I believe in our leadership. And I'm here. And I want to be here. Like, I want to be here for a long time and make lasting change. I want to continue to, and I'm opening up for change. I definitely feel like there's some personal things, some policy things that we need to look into. But the thing about me is I will stand for what's right at all times. And I won't waver from that. And I don't care if it's a 6-1. But I feel like we have a lot of great things going on. We have a lot of great things coming up. And I'm super excited about the growth that's going to be happening here in Eastland. And I believe that I'm the person that needs to be on that board. I really do. Because I'm not going to sit around. I'm not going to sit on my hands and wait for something to happen. I will help chase that vision, help chase that goal for this school. And we want to improve the quality of life for our students and our teachers, all of our facilities, update our facilities. And so I want to be a help, and I want to do that. So thank you.
Jim Moylan, Jr.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Ms. Robin Hayes, the Tea Party, and the Republican Party for hosting this forum this evening. I, Jim Moylan, Jr., am seeking your vote and support for Place 7 on the Eastland Independent School District Board of Trustees. From 2003 through 2018, I held this position, and for the last 11 of those 15 years was honored to serve as president. During this time, Missy and I proudly watched our 3 children become the 4th generation of our family to graduate from Eastland High School. I bleed red and black. Our school district has many incredible employees, but even the greatest people need leadership at the top that they can trust to be fair, consistent, and steadfast. Over the past few years, Maverick Nation has lost a great deal of trust and faith of the taxpayers and alumni who contribute to EISD year after year. This stems from poor communication and decision-making that is reactive and not proactive. Now is the time to draw on past leadership styles and wisdom to course correct and rebuild the trust and faith that we have lost and establish a vision for the future. The Board of Trustees' top priority should be providing a vision for the district and holding the superintendent accountable in pursuing the collective vision. This should reflect the values of our community and people within our district. Over 85% of the taxpayers vote conservative, and the vast majority are affiliated with our local churches. With this in mind, we are a Christian conservative base, and the vision and values directing our school should be in line with this belief system. All decisions should be made based on existing policy, rules, and guidelines without outside distractions. The board's collective diligence will allow us to reestablish a place of respect and safety for all students, faculty, staff, and leadership. Furthermore, all individuals in EISD will be held to the same standards of excellence. If we hold true to these values and convictions through proper leadership, we can rebuild the trust and faith that has been tarnished. Providing an education that gives our students a desire to pursue his or her dreams must be our goal. Following this path will allow us once again to hold our heads high, and in the words of former Principal Joel Lawson, say, it is a great day to be a Maverick. So I'm asking each and every one of you for your vote and support on May 4th to help make EISD the best it can be. Thank you.
So I did have questions submitted for y'all's race in the last 3 days. So you will each have 1 minute to answer these, or you don't have to use the whole time. And we're going to go in the order that y'all drew. Y'all remember what that was?
I think we're sitting in it.
Oh, are you?
Yes,
Oh, perfect. Then I don't have to think. Oh, no, you're not. Oh, you are. Sorry. I didn't mean to call you liar. So, the first question, and it might be good to come over here. Anyway, in your opinion, what is the role of the school board?
The role of, that was in my speech. The role of the school board is to oversee leadership, guidance to administration, number one, superintendent, and the budget, all of the school facilities. Can you repeat the question? Did I leave anything out? The role of the school board? Yeah. What's the role of the school board? So, duties. There are a lot of duties of the school board, but number one is to oversee superintendent and be fiscally responsible for all things education. Okay, and our children, of course.
If you don't have anything new to say, you don't have to come up, but you're certainly welcome.
So there is a misconception sometimes. There's a team of 7 of us, and everybody that's been here speaking sits on some type of board. So they know that. It's not one person, it's a group of people. We may not all agree, but our role is to oversee the superintendent. We don't hire and we don't fire anybody but the superintendent at that school. We're to make sure that he is taking care of the processes and procedures. That is our job, to adopt a budget and to adhere to that. That is our role. We are the watchtower. That is what we do. That is our role for all kids and every teacher. That's it.
When it comes to the school or a school board, you're handling 2 of the most sensitive things: tax dollars and people's kids. And so it takes a special group of leaders to be able to guide the superintendent to make the best decisions. Now, we trust our superintendent. That's why we hire him. That's why we give him contract. And then we believe that he's going to do his job correctly. Now, we can't just hand him the reins. As the board, I believe that we have to hold up expectations and be very clear and transparent on policy and personnel procedures.
Of course, you have to agree with what they've said. It's a team of 7, and really it's a team of 8 when you work in unison with the superintendent. But it is our job, as I said, to have a vision for the district and hold the superintendent accountable for pursuing that vision. Also, yes, we're part of adopting the budget, but we all know, everyone up here served on the board, you get this budget and you start looking through it, and I mean, the only thing I ever knew to do was have the last 3 years. That way you could look back and see, where are we increasing, where are we decreasing, where are we headed? But anyway, it is truly this board's job to have a vision for the district and hold the superintendent accountable to pursuing that vision. Thank you.
Thank you all. The next question, and these aren't from me, but anyway, so when I say I, it's not me. I understand from a teacher in high school that discipline is very weak. How do each of you respond to that comment? And if you think it is an issue, what are your plans in the future to improve the atmosphere in our schools?
I go first again. Every time. Exciting. I'm good with that. I know, I only have 1 minute. So I could talk about this probably for a long while, but number one, I do believe discipline is not just a problem in Eastland, Texas. It's everywhere. Let's face it. Our kids are dealing with the world I did not deal with, you didn't deal with, and you didn't deal with. None of us in this room deal with what our children deal with daily. However, Scripture tells us we are all here from the same Creator, and we are to discipline and hold ourselves and our children accountable. It is our responsibility to do that. Now, there is a consequence to every action. Some greater, some less. But we cannot lose sight that children are children. They are going to make mistakes. They are going to mess up. We as adults make mistakes. But as administrators, as teachers, and as parents, it is our job as leaders and all of those collectively to work together to discipline our children in whatever form, shape, or reason. They have to be held accountable, and they've got to be disciplined. Academically, sports, extracurricular, it doesn't matter. My time's up. Told y'all. Sorry. Call me later.
So consistency is a very good word to be used for this. There has to be consistency. That is where we are lacking with discipline. Consistency with attendance, consistency with every kid with any type of behavioral issue. And that's the truth. I'm straight up honest. We have a consistency issue. We do. We have talked about it as a board member, as a board. That's not saying that it's out of hand, because I don't feel like it is out of hand, but we have to be more consistent and we have to communicate. That is another key issue, is communication. So, and that does start at the top. That goes with the expectations. That goes with adopting the vision that the board adopts at the beginning of the year is the vision. And the consistency is only fair for everybody across the board, for all kids, because that's where the complacency starts. That's where the issues start.
When it comes to discipline, there's levels of discipline. Level 1, you go to the principal, try to take care of the issue, and then so on and so forth. And then it goes up to the school board. Then it becomes a major issue. And then if it surpasses us, then it goes to the state level. But I feel like communication and documentation, I feel like we need to document everything that happens, and we need to communicate. And I feel like our leadership, as far as our principals, they need to communicate their expectations clearly and quickly and try to come up with a resolution. And I also feel like resolutions need to be documented. Did we solve this disciplinary action? How did we do it? And what is our moving forward actions?
This going last a little tough too, because everybody gets your answer, see. But when I was talking about reestablishing trust amongst safety and respect amongst the teachers and faculty and the children, that's what I was talking about. I don't believe children have changed. I believe that our expectations for those children is what's changed. And so it's our tolerance to allow them to maybe cross lines more and not hold hard fast on the barriers we set up. Our teachers need to know that this board will back them if they discipline kids, as long as they're on the right side of the book. They never should have a question of that in their mind. But anyway, the teachers have to know that they have our backing, and the superintendent has to know we'll hold him accountable if he doesn't draw a fast, firm line for all the students to go by. Thank you.
And so, this next question, we're going to start with Deirdre and go that way and then here. And then the next one, Marcus, and then, because I know that's how it's supposed to be done, but anyway. Let's see. Eastland High School sent 1 student to this year's UIL competition. Rangers sent 11 and Cisco sent 21 students. Is this an area of concern that we do not have more students involved in UIL?
Well, what event is, what are we, it just
Because it's saved. guess any.
We had a bunch of UIL events.
Depends on like that.
I mean,
Just tell us what you know.
I'm not sure what they're. I don't know exactly what they're specifying on that, but we pride ourselves on what these kids have done. I mean, I wish I really knew specifically what they were talking about, but I'm just going to use the ag department. What those kids, what they accomplish over there. That is the leader of that department who drives that force. She wants every kid, not just high school kids, junior high kids, to be successful. And part of that is having the right people, the right leaders in the right spots. Part of our deal is we stay stagnant on coaches. We just are okay with the status quo. We have got to have the right people in the right spots to drive and motivate these kids to want to be winners. Amen. And to want to achieve, to be at that top level. That comes with home life, that comes with being here at the school. There's all kinds of things that factor into that. But I've never heard anybody ever say we don't want to send anybody to a UIL event.
Marcus.
Oh,
You're gonna go last.
Just ask that question. I that question and I should have put it academic.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. You know, as far as ask the last question again.
Oh, Eastland High School sent one student to this year's UIL competition. And I guess, is this okay that Rangers sent 11, Cisco 21, and us only one? Is it a concern for you? Do we need to have more students involved in UIL academic competition?
So the clear answer is no. Obviously, we want to send a lot more of our students in our high school. But you know, what are some of the changes that we need to make, or what are some of the maybe I'm speaking a little too much. So what are some of the things that we can do? First, we need to figure out, you know, how can we get these kids involved? How can we get these kids trained to go to these different UIL events? And that's just going to come down to our teachers, I believe. And I believe it goes all the way up to the top guy, the superintendent. He needs to be in the halls, talking and communicating with not only the teachers, but he needs to be communicating with the students and trying to help motivate them and get them to succeed.
I believe this is about priorities. If your teachers and all want to start pushing and recruiting, that's what we have to do. We have to make it a priority of the board, of the superintendent, all that we're going to get re-engaged in UIL in the academic side. Right now, apparently, there's not a lot of kids wanting to do that. And I look back and I see a coach back here that my daughter didn't want to run cross country one year, but Bobby Blackwell came and said, no, I'm recruiting you. You're going to run cross country for me. So that's what it's about. You have to get engaged, build relationships with these kids, and say, hey, let's get involved in UIL. We have a lot of smart, very bright children. Teach them and show them what their capabilities are. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to just kind of follow back up on what all three of them spoke about. I think they all made good points. But I think what sticks out to me most is me jumping back to kind of where I was when my time ran out a while ago. I feel like we have lost sight as a whole in the reason we send our kids to school, and that's education. If we, like Jim said, if we are motivating and we're pushing our own kids at home and we're pushing them at school and we're drawing and bringing them into those programs and we're making it fun. I mean, I know Miss Vernon, she did some awesome things because my daughter was blessed to be in her class and participate in some of those things. But again, it comes back to us as the adults, the leaders, the teachers, the staff, the administrators, and the superintendent. And every one of those leaders, the soup has got to do his job in pushing his staff members and those teachers to get out there and push those kids and send the papers home with the parents, send this stuff, at a young age. But we can't start a freshman year in high school. We have to start when they're babies. Sorry, I'm done.
Okay, so Marcus, you'll be answering first on this one. While comparing 49 schools academically in the surrounding area, Eastland ranks 25th in the list. In past years, Eastland has taken pride in our competitiveness. Do you, as a current or a future board member, think average is good enough?
No. I am not average, and I don't do anything average. I try to be the best that I can be. And that's what I expect our teachers and our superintendent and our leadership to push their teachers to do the best that they can to get these kids trained. And, you know, our elementary, I love our elementary school. It ranked really high, by the way. Chester's doing amazing things down in our elementary. But I guess the honest answer is no, I don't believe we need to be average. I believe we need to be above average. And we need to do the necessary steps that it takes to get there.
Absolutely no one wants to be average. That's kind of like being lukewarm, and we know what happens there. What we have to do is you have to focus and get the board and all involved. And I know Shelley Reinhardt is our academic leader to make everything mesh in. And you just start targeting, because we've had this problem through the years in Eastland. You start targeting areas that we need to improve, and you measure that year by year by taking that class from the 4th grade, 5th grade to the 6th grade. You can in Eastland, because our numbers are too small, compare last year's 5th grade and this year's 5th grade. You will have a vast difference. So you have to start tracking individual groups, watching their progress, and seeing what you can institute to make them the best they can be. Thank you.
I don't think I can say a whole lot more to that other than I will agree with everyone. I'm as competitive as anyone probably in this room. And no, the answer is no, it's not okay to be average. We have to set standards and we have to follow them, and we have to follow these kids from the time they start in pre-K, kindergarten, and we've got to follow them all the way through. But we can only do that if we do it together. So I'm going to kind of jump off subject and say it takes us all, it takes an army to raise these kids, but they are important enough to do everything we can to keep pushing them and keep following them in every aspect and in every area. We have to be fundamentally sound. And if we're not fundamentally sound and we don't get those basics in, she's fixing to buzz me again, we can't expect more. So we got to just keep pushing, demand excellence, and raise them as far as we can get them. Thank you.
Again, this kind of goes back to our accountability ratings that Washington, well, that's the problem itself too, but Austin is having with this accountability. We've been tracking data since I've been on the board just about for 6 years. So we know what those 3rd grade kids that are now in 8th grade did. Like I said, we look at that all the time. So that is part of that accountability, and it's having the right teachers in the right positions to teach these kids is also part of that. It's the hiring process. We have to have the right people for that. We can't just hire anybody to come teach math. That affects everything for the school. A couple of years ago, they wanted to base our educational rating on our credit score. So if we had a bad rating on that on our testing scores, then we had a bad credit rating. Thank gosh, Austin did not do that. So nobody wants to be average.
So how do salaries for teachers, administrators, and support staff compare to surrounding schools and schools of a similar size?
Mr. Moylan.
Thank you. I can tell you that we had a teacher coach leave here last year, moved to Cisco, coaches one less sport, and makes $3,000 more a year, and on top of that, gets compensated when she drives a bus for activities. So right now, yes, we are below. We've had aides leave here and go to Ranger and get employed. So this has to become a focus of what our priorities are in spending. I know we need to build, we've got to keep improving, but we also have to retain good people when we have them, and you do that by compensating them with pay. Thank you.
I'm going to agree 100% with what Jim said. I'm a firm believer you're rewarded for good behavior as a child, and as grown adults, we work hard and we show improvements, and we instill all of the educational needs that our children, we need to keep those teachers here. We want those teachers here. We want all of our teachers here. But to answer the question, I can't answer with data or numbers, but I do agree. I think we're one of the lowers, and we want, as a past former board member and a possible elect, I want to ensure that every teacher, every employee, staff member, maintenance, cafeteria, all employees of EISD are compensated for the job that they do. Thank you.
So a few years ago, we got into the TIA, Teacher Incentive Allotment Program. And some teachers can make up to 6 figures with that. And that is going to be based off of their teaching, how these testing, the grades are, and their improvement with these kids. So we kind of put some of that back on them because they want to achieve that. There's some of the teachers that have been in this school district for a long time that deserve that kind of stuff. We did the stipends. We voted on putting the stipend in place for the support staff. We do longevity checks at Christmas, put them in the Christmas bonuses. There's a lot of things extra that we have done with the budget to help compensate some of these things that we needed to do extra for these teachers. But that teacher incentive allotment, not a lot of schools have gone to that. And we are very lucky. We've added a lot more to our school district. And that's a big deal. Teacher incentive allotment, look that up.
Forgot about TIA. That's good. That was a good point. All y'all had great points. It goes back to that average. Do we want to be average, or do we want to be better than average? I haven't done my homework. I don't know what all these other schools are making. I think we should look into that. But I can tell you how I run my business. You do the job, you do the work, you get paid what you work. And I believe you can't just have somebody come in and just pay them all this money because they talk a big game. You know, we want to see performance, we want to see how well they're doing, and then pay them based off of how they're doing, you know, the expectations that we set. And I think that goes back to expectations, motivation. Are they bringing the skill set that the board desires for them to have? But to answer that question, we need to do some more research on average pay.
That's it? Okay.
You're confusing us. That was all us.
Okay, Callie, you're first on this one.
Yes.
What guidelines do you think should be adopted by EISD with regard to bullying and hazing?
What guidelines?
Yes, ma'am. What guidelines do you think should be adopted by EISD in regards to bullying and hazing?
Okay, so I'm going to try to make this really short and simple to the point because I'm going to go back to where I was earlier. If you were hearing, all children need to be held accountable for their actions, whether it's bullying, hazing, any of those disciplinary actions that we've touched on. But in specific in bullying, yes, I do think there need to be protocols. I think rules are set in place for the safety of our children, for the safety of all of the other children, mental health, physical health, yes, I do think there need to be protocols set in place for bullying. I think this is probably minutes not long enough, but do I have an answer to all of those? No, because I don't have the current handbook in front of me to tell you what's in place now, but I do think that there are some adjustments that can be made. But ultimately, the leaders in place that set those rules need to stand firm, and they need to follow the rules that they have set in place. Thank you.
So I'll go back to the word communication. That's part of the problem too, is communication across the board. We have talked as a board, we are going to adopt some more policies. We're going to have to go back and totally reduce some of the policies that we've had. We faced some stuff that nobody's ever faced before. So, but we have to do it fair and consistent for all kids. And that goes back, like I said, to communication. We have got to, some of the processes, we've got to revamp those, because there should be a no tolerance policy for any type of behavioral issue like that. And sometimes I think we get too far in the weeds on some of that to be politically correct to try to solve some of those answers. But we have talked about it. There are some new things we're going to adopt because of some of the issues that have occurred here recently. But communication is part of that too. We got to know what's going on down the hill, up the hill.
I believe that we should have a no bullying and no hazing policy. It's no good for anybody. It's no fun for anybody. But I believe that we need to train our staff how to recognize bullying and how to react to bullying, and the certain steps that we need to assess the bullying. You know, bullying can go on a whole big scale. I mean, you got not as, you know, somebody kind of just hit you in the arm to something that we just went through. And so I believe that we need to train our school to look for that. Also, I believe that we need a culture change. We need to focus on our culture and rebuild and reset our mindset, especially with our coaching staff, our teachers, to really instill, even getting the kids motivated to, if they see something going on, hey, you're not going to bully him. They kind of stand up for each other. That's some of the things that we want to see.
While I haven't seen the latest policy on bullying and hazing, I do know that it exists, but I did see a flow chart that I was handed concerning this. And I will tell you, this is probably, in my mind, a lot like Washington. I don't know how many more rules we need. Maybe we just need to enforce the existing laws and rules that we have on the books for this. We have to hold all accountable, regardless of race, skin color, socioeconomic background. It does not matter. Everyone has to follow by the same rules on this when we're talking about this. And we need to become very aware of this. And like they said, have more training, get everyone aware to look for signs for this. Thank you.
Deidre, you'll be first on this one. Do you think that if a student is being bullied or hazed, and they stand up for themselves, that student should suffer the same consequences as the bully or hazer? And if not, what policy should be put into place to ensure the student has the right to defend him or herself?
So, in the current bullying policy, any kid has the right to defend themselves, and they are not going to be retaliated against or in trouble for that. I have told my daughter that numerous times throughout the years. She is never going to get in trouble at home for defending herself against anything like that. And that all starts at home too. So that goes for any kid at EISD. And that is part of the policy that we have in place, is there's no retaliation against that. And there shouldn't be for any kid defending themselves. What was the other part?
If not, what policy should be put into place?
So, sorry, yes ma'am. So it's kind of like what Marcus said. We have got to probably revamp. We've got to do some more training We don't want to add any more procedures to anything. We just need to continue to streamline and enforce what we have on the books, but we do need more training. We need our kids' involvement more, and that all starts with the leaders that we have.
It's kind of a two-part question. I mean, if the victim is not telling the truth, then we need to do our due diligence and figure out the whole case. I mean, anybody can say that something happened, but we really got to do our due diligence, and we need to teach our leadership how to find that. But as far as, if a victim stands up for himself, you stand up for yourself. I mean, I teach my kids the same thing, Deidre. But regardless, I feel like our leader, our principals, when things come to our principals, it needs to be documented. And there needs to be a resolution to it. How did we handle it? The good old boy system, the things kind of getting swept around, has got to stop. We need what happened, and this is how we handled it. And to answer that question, no, the victim shouldn't be punished. You need to stick up for himself.
Well, absolutely not. I mean, anyone has the right to stand up for themselves. If they're being bullied, if they're being harassed, or if someone's jumping on you, I mean, you have to defend yourself. I mean, that's what we teach our kids. Don't start it, but, you can't just take a bludgeoning and go away. But I think we need to also increase this and to start promoting and educating kids. If you see something, say something. We need other children to step up and start saying, hey, this is what actually happened. This is what I saw happen in this arena or whatever activity that was going on. So I think that's a real good policy and something positive that we can promote with our students, especially starting at a lower grade level. Thank you.
Again, I agree. I think everybody is on the same page on this. I'll just kind of add on to what Jim was saying. I think be proactive and adding to what Deidre and Marcus say. You can add policies and procedures until you're blue in the face and you just read a bunch of paper, typing on paper. However, I'm going to go back to what I said earlier, and I think we sometimes lose sight. We get all of this dwindling out here, and we forget about the basic fundamental. If Johnny's being ugly to Susie or someone's being bullied, first thing Brad and I taught our kids, you better defend yourself. Because if you don't defend yourself, you're going to be in trouble at home for not defending yourself. But at the same time, how do we communicate, again, that we have all of our staff, all of our parents, all of our kids looking out for each other? Let's go back to the basics, people. Let's be neighbors. Let's love each other. Let's look out for each other's kids and take care of each other's kids as parents, because we owe it to those kids.
Marcus.
This was a simple one, y'all. Do you think administrators should support and back our teachers with classroom issues? Marcus.
Yes. I feel like we're keep answering the same question just in a different way, but it goes back to culture. Our leadership, we need to be keeping our leaders accountable. We need to be going through, I'd say we as in, not the school board, but our superintendent. What's some things I want to see him doing is going and communicating, talking to these teachers. Hey, how's my principal doing? How's he doing? Just getting a real good feel of how the flow of his school, the culture of his school. I do that in my business every day. I go out to the yard hand. I'm like, hey, how's it going in the shop? How's your supervisor doing? Those are the things I want to know. That way I know I'm keeping my supervisor accountable. So, culture, accountability, expectations.
We have spoken to this a little bit earlier, but yes, our teachers have to know that the administration is going to back them in discipline issues. They can't be running scared or worried that, hey, what's going to happen here or there. They have to know that they have firm leadership behind them all the way up through the board that says, yes, we will hold children accountable, we will hold them to standards, and they will stay within the boundaries or there will be consequences. Thank you.
I'm going to agree to all of that again. I think that again, y'all, I'm just small town, country girl, and we go back to the basics. We should all hold ourselves accountable. And if our administrators, our superintendent, our principals, all the way down, our teachers need to hold themselves accountable. Our principals need to hold themselves accountable, and our superintendent needs to hold himself accountable. But all the way down, again, you go back to that leadership, communication, and accountability and responsibility. You can go through so many different characteristics. But yes, if our superintendent doesn't know what's going on in our classroom, I'm going to be a little bit concerned. I'm concerned if our teachers feel that they don't have the support from the superintendent or the principal. So if that issue is going on, we need to find the root of the problem, and we need to get find a solution and fix it. So thank you.
So again, communication and accountability. So if the principal is the problem, that teacher has the right to go up to Mary, who is the assistant superintendent. And if that is not what the answers that they need or feel like they need, that's where they need to go and have that conversation with the superintendent. As a school board, our job is to make sure the superintendent is doing that. It's his job to make sure his principals are doing their job. Again, communication and being consistent. I can't say those two words enough. That is part of our problem, is the communication and consistency. So teachers do a survey, and I think it just came out not very long ago, where the teachers can answer some of these questions and the superintendent gets the feedback, and then we will see the answers of that. We hardly have any participation in that. I wish the teachers would answer that fully, because we don't know who gives those answers. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you all for coming. I'm thinking that maybe if you want to visit with any of the candidates, they might be here for a few minutes. And I hope that you've all been able to make your decisions if you didn't already know what you were going to do.
Robin, may I make a comment?
Really quick.
Each and every one of you have talked about reinstatement, you've talked about restore, we've got problems, we've got this. I would like for y'all, in the interest of time, not here, but in the letter to the editor, if each one of you, all the candidates, pick a problem that you know of and tell us what you're going to do about it, specifically. We all love the school. I know you do. I know you care about it. I know your heart's going to be in it. But what are you going to do with this problem that evidently we have, because y'all stated them? Let me know in a letter to the editor. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Really quick, Kevin.
This is about the hospital.
Last
I
one.
just want to put something in perspective for you. 3,800 people live in Eastland County. 20,000 live in Eastland County. How many people go to the ER? When I left ER, 900 to 1,000 hospital visits per month. Per month. I don't know if it's still that way, but.
Thank you. Okay, y'all are dismissed.